5 years after Brexit, the United Kingdom stands on the edge of a political upheaval. Deep within the halls of power, a serious betrayal is unfolding. And it's coming straight from number 10 Downing Street. Prime Minister Keir Starmer appears poised to pull Britain back under Brussels' influence, igniting widespread alarm across the nation. This is not just speculation. Reports have emerged that the UK's most senior judge has urgently requested a meeting with King Charles III, signaling a constitutional crisis. Why? Because Starmer's covert plan to surrender British sovereignty at the May 19th UK-EU summit has crossed a line many believed would never be crossed again after the 2016 referendum. After pledging to honor Brexit, Starmer is now maneuvering to reintegrate the UK with the very EU institutions voters decisively rejected. This is no quiet concession. It's a full-scale rollback. From food standards and judicial authority to immigration policies, the Prime Minister's agenda reeks of surrender, all without a public mandate or parliamentary vote. At the core of the controversy lies Starmer's acceptance of the European Court of Justice, ECJ, having the final say on future UK-EU disputes. This court, which Brexit aimed to leave behind, is now being welcomed back into Britain's legal framework. The British people voted to reclaim control, yet Starmer is handing it away, branding this retreat as pragmatism. But the judiciary is not the only battleground. The government is reportedly considering a youth mobility scheme that would open the door for young Europeans to enter the UK under the pretext of education and work. This is widely seen as the first step toward reinstating freedom of movement, a red line for many Britons. This political gamble comes despite Labour's recent humiliating defeat in local elections, where Reform UK surged in traditional Labour strongholds by capitalizing on public dissatisfaction with immigration and sovereignty issues. Rather than retreating, Starmer is doubling down. Even Defence Secretary John Healey has disclosed plans for Britain to pay for access to EU defence programs, essentially funding Brussels while relinquishing control over how that money is spent. What's more, whispers suggest the UK could become entangled in the EU's controversial military initiatives, including joint surveillance, coordinated war planning, and AI-driven security operations. This would bind British troops and intelligence to EU directives, undermining national independence and raising alarms among many. Inside the Supreme Court, unease is growing. A senior judge reportedly expressed profound constitutional concerns about Starmer's moves, fearing the UK's legal sovereignty is at risk. In an unprecedented step, this judge requested an emergency meeting with the Monarch's Council to discuss the potential crisis, highlighting the severity of the situation. Meanwhile, Starmer is preparing for a grand summit in London on May 19th, with EU heavyweights like Ursula von der Leyen and Antonio Costa in attendance. While the event is framed as a historic step toward renewed UK-EU relations, critics warn it will seal deals that gradually reintegrate Britain into the EU's orbit, all under the guise of cooperation. This push to rejoin the EU's fold comes as global turmoil provides political cover. With Donald Trump's return to power in the U.S. and the ongoing conflict in Ukraine, Starmer seeks to deepen ties with Europe under the banners of defense and economic stability. But many argue these moves are less about security and more about surrendering sovereignty. Foreign Secretary David Lammy's enthusiastic support for stronger European security bonds and coordinated sanctions underscores this shift. This is a once-in-a-generation moment for continental security, he declared. A sentiment that underscores how far Britain's political discourse has moved toward EU integration since 2016. As public anger simmers, Reform UK and figures like Nigel Farage are poised to exploit the backlash. Polls show Reform UK surging, with voters feeling deeply betrayed by politicians who promised Brexit but now seem intent on reversing it quietly. The judiciary's alarm, public discontent, and political opposition all converge at this pivotal moment. The question facing Britain is stark. Will the country accept Starmer's backdoor Brexit reversal, or will it demand genuine sovereignty? Adding to the turmoil, Starmer's Labour Party is now scrambling to appear tough on immigration after being routed in recent elections. Enter Yvette Cooper, touted as Labour's new immigration warrior. But this move is seen by many as a desperate stunt rather than genuine leadership. Cooper's plan to tighten migration controls, banning foreign care workers from the NHS, imposing levies on universities recruiting international students, and slashing graduate visa lengths may sound tough but lacks coherence. Critics point out contradictions, such as recent trade deals with India allowing exemptions on national insurance for workers, undermining claims of strict border control. Britain's political landscape is at a tipping point. From Downing Street to the courts, from the palace to the streets, a storm is brewing. Starmer's gamble to quietly undo Brexit may prove to be his greatest political risk yet, and the British people are watching closely.